They're coming in from Chennai, where DMK Chief Karunanidhi's medical condition, he continues to remain under close observation in the intensive care unit of the Kaveri Hospital. A health bulletin by the hospital stated that he had suffered a temporary setback late last night, but his condition was improving. Now the hospital is likely to issue another health bulletin shortly. Meanwhile, thousands of party supporters have gathered outside the hospital for any news of the party patriarch. Now the crowd clashed with the police last night as they attempted to barge inside the hospital. Karunanidhi's son Stalin has also appealed to them, asking them to stay calm. Just to give you a background of the situation, Karunanidhi was admitted on Friday night following a drop in his blood pressure. For the past few days, he has been suffering from renal infection. Pramod now joining me on the phone line with further updates of the kind of situation that we're witnessing in Chennai. Pramod, good morning to you. First of all, take us through what is the situation that we are looking. Last night we saw the kind of a crowd that had gathered outside the Kaveri Hospital, and after repeated appeals they're coming in from senior cadres in the leadership, they were attempting to disperse the crowd. What is the situation right now?
Well, good morning, and as you saw the last update from the hospital, it stated that there was a bit of setback on his health, and that became the issue because as he was being treated, unlike what happened with Jayalalitha, the information easily disseminates out about his health, and that's why a large crowd gathered outside the hospital. But the hospital also claimed that the setback was taken care of, and after active medications and active support, he was getting normalized, and he was much better than how he was the day before yesterday. Still, the crowd was not ready to listen to whatever was happening because the news bulletin, this bulletin from the hospital got delayed by 3 hours, and imagine even A. Raja and M.Q. Stalin had to specifically release a statement for the crowd to disperse and to actually cooperate with the cops. Yet there was also another information that the Chief Minister was to arrive at 1 a.m. to meet Karunanidhi's family. That plan also got cancelled, but the crowd was waiting for that to occur, and around 1:30 a.m. only they left. However, when it comes to Karunanidhi's health, the doctors claim that for now he is doing fine, and the problem, through sources we are coming to hear that once again his pulse rate went very low, that they thought that recovering it will be difficult, but apparently he is now considered as a fighter and he has recovered.
Also, Pramod, the medical bulletin that came last spoke about how there was a temporary setback. However, his vitals are stabilizing. Any word coming in on the medical bulletin that we are expecting from the hospital officials shortly?
We believe that the medical report, at least henceforth, will be on time. Imagine 7 o'clock medical bulletin have been provided at 10 p.m. causing such a chaos, and that's the reason we've spoken to doctors, and they have also stated there won't be any more delays in medical reports. And since the family was also with them, they claim because considering his age as a factor, it's not that easy to constantly provide medical reports on time. They have to take care of all these parameters as considerations, and only then they can provide the medical report. But now they have assured that he is perfect and doing well and is normalizing. Yet there is no information about the earlier fever or urinary tract infection he was suffering from. The medical report has only stated that there was a setback and he is under active medical support. We're believing that if all is well, then the medical report can be expected by 2:30 p.m. or in the evening by 7 p.m.
Also, Pramod, since morning, has there been any top leadership who have made their visit to the hospital since morning?
Major leaders have already visited him in the past 3 days when he was at his hospital. The first medical report which claimed that there's a slight decline with his health. Initially it says the AIDMK leaders, all other party leaders have visited him. The only person who wanted to visit him yesterday supposedly was the Chief Minister. But considering how unruly the crowd was, the police apparently has provided information to the CM cell that it is definitely not advisable for the Chief Minister to come to the hospital to that late night, and it's not easy for the cops to control the crowd without any untoward incidents, and that it is said that that's the reason the protocol was changed, and he did not come to the hospital but went to the home. We are expecting the Chief Minister to make that trip today, but the timing is yet to be confirmed.
Right, Pramod, stay with us and we will of course come back to you for further updates on what is happening on ground, especially with the DMK chief Karunanidhi still under observation. But going across to my colleague Viren now, who's joining me for more details on this. Viren, of course, we have seen a situation like this before. What do you think are the immediate concerns of the authorities, the police officials at this point? Yesterday night, we saw the kind of crowd that had swelled up outside the hospital also going ahead and clashing with the police. What do you think right now, since morning, would be the immediate concerns of the police officials and of the state government at this point?
Well, Apurva, primarily, of course, the concern of the police, of the state administration in Tamil Nadu was to try and get a handle on the situation outside the hospital itself, because the doctors are doing their best with the health of the former chief minister inside the hospital. But it was the situation outside that was rather concerning, and hence you also saw the Tamil Nadu government put other paramilitary forces as well on standby in the event things get a little out of hand. We may point out, of course, yesterday, late last night, that things did get out of hand just for a little bit. There was, the police had to resort to a minor lathi charge, but from pictures that we're bringing to you this morning, it looks like things have improved. Most of the supporters there have, in fact, dispersed. In fact, the working president of the DMK, M.K. Stalin, as well as A. Raja, who is a former union minister, as we know, among other things, as well as a senior DMK leader, have all, in fact, all put out an appeal yesterday to try and speak to the supporters, to speak to the cadre, the rank and file of the DMK, because this is a rather emotional issue. We saw a number of supporters of the DMK, people who have grown up perhaps admiring M. Karunanidhi, through their youth, who were shedding tears outside the hospital. There was some raw emotion very visible to those who were in fact who were very close to the former chief minister. So that is expected, and of course much is to be done to try and ensure the situation does not get out of hand. But from the look of things, from pictures that we bring you from this morning, it is clear that things have improved there on the ground, making it slightly easier for the police, who themselves find themselves dealing with a rather difficult situation.
Absolutely, Viren, and also an important aspect that also Pramod highlighted is how there were rumors that were really taking up, and that had also got a lot of crowd to really come on to the hospital, and that is something that the police will have to looking at very closely to make sure that these rumors do not cause a law and order situation to go out of hand.
Once again, something that we have been reporting here on Mirror Now across various kinds of stories, whether they be about mob violence or whatever. It's sometimes these rumors that spread over social media, over WhatsApp, that in fact, unfortunately, they're unsubstantiated. It's fake news. There's no truth to them. In many cases, old videos are circulated by people online without even verifying the content of those videos and whether they indeed are even from now. And therefore you saw that crowd really swelling into the thousands late last night, after which we had those barricades being knocked down, the police having to resort to a minor lathi charge. So an appeal again being put out by the Tamil Nadu police. They're extremely aware of the fact that fake news can lead to a serious problem for as far as law and order is concerned, and therefore they've appealed to these people, to people all across the board, not to believe in these rumors, to please only believe in the information that's provided by the hospital or by the DMK about his health. The health bulletin, Apurva, makes it extremely clear that the health of the former chief minister is improving. His vitals stabilized last night.
All right, Viren, stay with us. We will, of course, come back to you for more perspective on what is happening outside the Kaveri Hospital in Chennai. But let's also quickly listen in to what A. Raja of the DMK had to say when he visited the Kalangarathi Hospital.